Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As always, I am your host, Mike. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Great to be here. Great to have you all back. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, but, we figured we'd let everyone else stream when multiplayer was launching, and it's great to be back. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you. We always stream for charity, and the weekly charity or monthly charity is always above my head. And I'm just going to play some games and answer some questions. So if you have a question for me, please put at Last Epoch Game in the questions so I see it pop out, and it's really easy for me to answer. But I'm just going to take this opportunity to play multiplayer because I haven't had a lot of time to do that yet on the actual live servers. And so yeah, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm a crazy person, so I'm playing two-handed rogue. And we're still pretty early. I'm only level 44, but we're hanging out, having some fun, and I'm lost in town apparently. I don't know why I thought there was an exit up there. Here we go. Get into the action. Just a little stroll. I was listening to the music at the start of this, and the chickens and the soft town music was happening. I'm like, this really reminds me of sitting in Kakariko Village in Breath of the Wild. All right. And everyone prepared to spam Mike with your bug reports? Yeah, please don't. Glad to have y'all with me though. I hope we get some good questions in here. Yes, big Zelda fan. There's also Geralt's sword down there too, but yeah. Alright, first question. Any chances to make melee builds a bit more forgiving? Talking about things like buffs falling off after 2 seconds, which makes rotations extra rough. I get the feeling the 2-second buff is talking about Berserk in Werebear, probably. Which, ironic, it's funny, this comes up every once in a while. And it is a tough buff to keep up, but oh boy is it strong. And it's one of my favorite buffs to use. So, I can't really say, oh yeah, we got plans to change that, oh, we got plans to fix this or that, or anything like that. We always look at feedback and distributions of how people are doing and what people are playing and all that sort of good stuff. And if there's something that you really want changed or feel like isn't working the way you're hoping it should, there's feedback sections on the forums that are really good for placing things like that. As for melee in general, personally, I'm playing melee here, and I love melee in this game a ton. My favorite is marksman, but I'm a rogue fanboy for sure. So, any plans? Nothing specific. There's always plans to make everything better. Yeah, better. I figure I'm channeling my inner Master Yi with this build. Really fast attacks, and then lethal mirage. It's basically that same set, isn't it? Then we disappear. Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing. I was reading a question. Yeah. I'm loving these Hands of Judgment gloves. Will we be getting more unarmed items like this? Maybe it's it's the first attempt at an unarmed style. We've had requests for things like it in the past, and so we might look at more. It seems like people are enjoying it. Oh gosh. People talking to me. Another question here. There's some grumbling going around about excessive damage output from fire-type monsters compared to their compatriots. Any insight here? Well, I've been getting complaints that the fire enemies are overtuned, the cold enemies are overtuned, the void enemies are overtuned, and the poison enemies are overtuned. So, and like really compelling arguments about all those, how like everything else is fine, but just that one specific one is like really overtuned. So it's a little tough to engage in conversations about that when I don't have good evidence about it yet. But I mean, like it's never intended that one specific enemy type, like element type, is significantly more powerful than the others. Quick little reminder, if anyone does have a question, please put @Last Epoch Game in the question so that I see it. But I think I see some ones that are not like that. Master Sword 1291! Wow, 22 months in a row. Thank you so much. That's crazy. We're almost at 2 years. Wow. We've been doing this for a while, haven't we? This is literally how I track how long we've been doing this. This is just by the people who are subbed the whole time. Oh, down there. I don't want to go down there. Let's try and find a question here. Talking about rhythm with dancing blades, with bosses needing to consistently move around. The whole build based around 2 seconds is just, oh, you're talking about the melee thing still. Yeah, like... You might not enjoy, like, there's lots of different gameplay styles, and maybe that one's just a little too frenetic for you. The rogue is definitely designed around, like, very rapidly changing battle conditions in mind, as like a plan. Is it possible monolith progression will be partly shared between characters 1.0 release? Anything's possible. Is the first season mechanics already picked? So like we're not doing season mechanics the same way that you might be used to from Path of Exile. The first, at least initially, the first few seasons or cycles are kind of just gonna feel like big expansion packs, or like really big patches, I guess, because we'll be like just building up more endgame systems and things like that, and it won't be distinct between the cycle start and the standard cycle, so it'll still be like older characters will still be able to access the new stuff as well. But as far as like what we're gonna do for the first cycle, yeah, it's been picked out. We're gonna be releasing the final masteries and finishing the game, like finishing the release version of the game. What was I doing in here? It's been a few days since I've even touched this. I think I was going down here. Yeah. Come on. That was frustrating. What do you think about builds which can do T4 Jeweler in 30 seconds without insane legendaries? I mean, they're probably overtuned. Last stream, I asked you if you'd be willing to introduce a resistance stat that combines Void, Necro, and Poison resistance like Elemental does. You then asked me to come up with a name for it. I do remember this. So here, in no particular order, the top 5 names that I came up with. Okay. Corrupted resistance. I see what you're going for. It's tough because corruption is such a prominent mechanic in the monolith that I think people would associate the two and get confused. So probably can't do that one. Vicious resistance. I see where you're going with that one too. I don't think there's... I don't think it fits for poison, really. I mean, there's nothing really inherently evil about or vicious about any of those compared to other elements, is there?
Easy. Too easy.
Vile resistance. I think that's my favorite so far. Unearthly resistance. Meteors by definition don't come from Earth. And technically this is an Earth. And decay resistance. That works great for poison. But I think people would assume that it works for things like lich decay. So like vile resistance, I can get behind that one a little bit. It's the best one I've heard so far. What's your favorite car? I always get the year wrong. I think it's a 56 Red Thunderbird. The ones with the big mirrors. You want to talk about overtuned damage? Avalanche is the one that always gets me. My goodness. I think like 3/4 of my deaths on stream are to Avalanche. Not cold damage, Avalanche. You think I'd be running like huge cold and fizz? Those are two of my highest. Apparently I'm predisposed to dealing with it. Do you plan on having a system in place for multiplayer when, let's say, if 2 people are in a party that have the same skill, that skill's cooldown is shared regardless of who used it? No. This could be useful for balancing skills that maybe not overpowered executed by themselves, but would be if each other could execute it back to back. I think that the time when that happens is specifically around hard CC abilities like Shield Bash, and having that resistance shift to the target to regulate how frequently it can be stunned is a better way of doing that, I think. Hello, hope you're having a great day, man. I am having a great day, man. Out of curiosity, what is the intention behind the creation of the Judgment gloves? Are the gloves designed to be the best way to play Judgment, i.e. without a weapon? Thoughts? No, nothing's specifically designed to be the best way to play anything. I think there's a predisposition for the new thing to be evaluated highly in power level, and they might be too strong still. I find it really funny that they are extremely popular and very powerful, and the like initial reaction when we released the patch and when we're like we nerfed them right away as the patch dropped compared to the preview event version of it, and the initial reaction was, well, they're done, dead build, doesn't matter, useless, never gonna use them, and they're still like almost ubiquitous now. I find that really funny. Okay. What is the reasoning behind dynamic boss DR? Make more builds possible to be competitive and awesome. The way I see it, the rest of the question here, the way I see it is just goes against what makes an RPG an RPG, since it makes character progression meaningless past a certain point. Unfortunately, that's not true. Actually, fortunately, that's not true. Because no matter what, the more damage you build, the faster the boss dies. Period. There is no exception to that. My real life name is Vicious. Cool. Hey, what do you guys plan to do with the storm bow item type? Says in the database that it can't drop. It is a unique only item base. So sometimes what we'll do when we're making a unique item, we try and match it up with a with a like a base type that we like. But sometimes they just don't exist. So if there's a situation where we're like, okay, this unique really needs this implicit, but no base types have this implicit, sometimes we'll just make the base type for it and just add that to the list, and there you go, you have new base type. And sometimes we'll say like, well, okay, this works really well because this unique exists, and basically unless you're using this unique, that base type's gonna suck. Usually happening on elemental conversion uniques. What we'll generally do is we'll whatchamacallit, just make a base type specific for that unique, and then it doesn't drop normally. So you can still get it as part of a unique. Noxious resistance? Yeah. I don't think void or necrotic. Necrotic kind of does. Do you have any relatively far plans on soft reworking the existing story act pacing somewhere, like that just a bit? Sorry, I'm stumbling over these words here. Of course, it's personal, but pre-ruined part feels for me a bit too short and hectic. Or Lotus Hall's feeling 2 zones packed into one. So the starting initial 2 chapters are getting completely overhauled. That's been in the works for a while now. It didn't make it into this; it wasn't ready yet. And there's more chapters coming later on as well. Part of that is the early part of the game is really old now, and a lot of the techniques we learned and created and tools we added for level design and storytelling and all these sorts of things that we've added later on in the game weren't available to the people making the systems, or making those tools weren't available to the people making the content at the start of the game when we were doing those stuff. So it's in need of a bit of a glow up in certain sections. That avalanche hurts. Am I a noob, or is there no way to craft on idols? You are not a noob. There's no way to craft on idols. Make sure to tag me. Yes, make sure to tag me. If you want me to answer your question, put Last Epoch game in the question. I'll be happy to answer. As long as it's a reasonable question, you know. Might get sassy with you. Oh, 2 of them. That was a mistake. I'm trying to use Lethal Mirage as a bit of a defensive option as well because of the disappearing. So I've taken a lot of the like adding images to make them like last longer, but I'm specifically not taking things like this to make it happen quicker, so that I stay invisible longer. Prior to multiplayer release, you discussed the networking mode being neither lockstep nor predictive like PoE uses, but that would feel good even on a relatively high ping. Currently, even on low ping, it's quite common to experience small amounts of desync in various abilities. It's not unusual to randomly have significant desync. Will we potentially see a shift towards different type of networking mode? No, it's not the fault of the networking mode. It's the fault of the way those skills are set up specifically. When is full release? When it's ready. Did I miss the memo? Daylight savings ended, or did we start an hour early today? This is the exact. I said the exact same time in what we call epoch time or local time for me. Some parts of the world, I guess, don't do daylight savings, but no, this is daylight savings adjusted. I wish we didn't do daylight savings. My goodness. I always do this. I always come down this way. And like I always remember as I've done it. I don't know why. Depending on the continued work on multiplayer beta launch, will we see the faction system that introduced trade closer to or introduced in 0.91 or later? It will be 0.91 or later. Like it won't be in 0.90. We haven't started work on it yet. We came up with the idea, and knew that we had to say something before multiplayer launched. And we're like, we just gotta tell everyone right now. So that announcement, the idea was like a week old. Total. Okay, be more careful, Mike. Playing a dumb two-handed rogue, it's not supposed to work, and surprise, it doesn't. Interesting. Might be a replacement weapon there for me. Sounding a lot less snotty this stream. Yeah, I'm over it pretty well. Still got a little cough every once in a while lingering. It wasn't COVID, don't worry. If tired from a long week. It has been a long week. It's been a good week, though. It's been a really good week. Do the Judgment Gloves currently also buff Consecrated Ground spell damage, and is that intended? I'm pretty sure they do, and yes, if it does, it is. Does flat plus spell damage scale fire aura 2 or just a percent increase? I'm pretty sure it's just a percent increase. Are there any pure fire aura builds? Or any other builds close to Righteous Fire from PoE? I used to be a thing last I played long ago, but apparently that got nerfed. We took the, depending on how long ago you played, we took the skill out of the game, like the active skill out of the game. So you may have been playing when you could actually just cast fire aura. The closest thing to Righteous Fire style builds is actually in the Lich Tree. The Poison Aura, which I'm blanking on the name of right now, embarrassingly. Also, for the record, I would call Void, Necrotic, and Poison damage very vicious, yeah. Hey Mike, I was hoping, I hope it's going well. Sorry if this is already being asked. It's okay. Will the online characters be wiped for the release of 1.0? We have no plans to wipe characters. Sometimes we make horrible mistakes and things go terribly wrong, and it's possible that could happen. But we have no plans to wipe any characters. The plan for the 1.0 release is to take all of the characters that are existing and move them into a standard league or standard cycle. Don't know what we're going to call it yet, but it'll be very similar to the way that Diablo and Path of Exile use their standard and non-ladder systems. And as 1.0 starts, a new ladder will start, and everyone who wants to compete on the new ladder will need to start a new character. There will not be any content differences between cycle and non-cycle characters. So if you don't care about the ladder at all and want to just keep playing on your character that you've been playing on before, that's totally fine. But as we learned very strongly from some people, the ladder's all that matters. I know we got a fair bit of feedback of disappointment when the ladder got cut from 0.9, unfortunately, which I'm sorry about. Would have kept it if we could. quite often these things come down to, like, sometimes when something seems like insane that we've done, it quite often comes down to we're sitting in a room and we're like, so our choices are cut this feature or push the whole patch back some amount of time. And we're like, how much time is that? We don't know. Okay, so it could be a month and you could have it not fixed? Yep. Alright, well, I guess we're cutting the feature then. And that's kind of what happens. So it's just, it's not a, like, we hate the feature and we decided to get rid of it or anything like that. Little tangent there, sorry. Smite proc paladin plus bone shatter golem insta rip instance. Probably something calculate interaction with monster corpses and bone spikes from golem. Sorry, I do not know enough about all the things you said to know an answer to that. If you think you found a bug, please go to the forums for bug report. Someone just said I'm on yellow. I am on yellow. I didn't even notice. I was struggling a bit on those walls, the ice walls, but other than that, it's been fine so far for me. Do you plan on a better training dummy to calculate damage? No. What are the possibilities of standalone client ever making a return? Ever's a long time, but by 1.0, 0. Four-handed rogue when? Wouldn't that be the sight?
Who are you? Yulia Lan. What?
Oh.
Do you not what?
Yes, I'm a horrible person.
The lance is just up ahead.
Four-handed rogue. I'm trying to think of a funny way to say that to make it work. Alright. When is the next big update? We are returning to our normal major patch cadence from before, from the 0.8x patch groups. I don't have an exact time on that, but it will be similar to what, if you've been following us, what you come to expect. There will not be another massive gap like there was for 0.9. For the 8.5 to 0.9 gap, we're not doing that again. It'll be back to our normal, regular cadence. Hi Mike, hello. The guy with Lethal Mirage question here again. If Rending Darkness doesn't hit yourself, is it just to buff party members? Yes. I'm pretty sure. Let's look at it. Yes, I know how to type. Yeah, so, yeah. I'm pretty sure there's no way to make this hit yourself. Pretty sure.
Easy. Too easy.
Because I don't think you can ever hit yourself with anything. Oh my goodness, that's a huge spider. Just a second. Sorry about that. I'm in like a basement office, and for whatever reason, there's like always spiders on the ceiling. I've had one like drop in front of me too while I'm typing. Yeah. I screamed like a girl. It's fine. I am no Samwise. Are you able to showcase the pets currently in the game? And will there be other reskinned Chrono Worm pets in the game in the future? So the Chrono Worm pets that are in the game already are specifically for Kickstarter backers. I completely forgot I even had it on. I don't know if I should be showing all of them. Does the backpack work now? Hey! You see my face? It's real small, but it's there. It's my face. Actually, no, we're gonna play with it on. Let's play with it on. Yeah. We're going on an adventure! I love it. Oh! What is going on? Lethal Barrage, make me invisible. Oh, you need some help over here, bud? Got your back, Jack. Drink lots of water, everybody. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm supposed to show the pets. I don't know if I ever not. These are the ones that. These are not all of them. I guess these are the ones that my account just has activated for testing. I feel like the usefulness of Ballista is quickly being outclassed, and I need to replace it with a smoke bomb specialization. I'm unsure about this one. Is it intended? I don't know. That casting static through surge does not pay statics. Power surge mana increase. I mean, every time I see an "is it intended" question, probably not. I don't know, because it's almost always just found a bug afterwards. I don't know. 4 patches in last week for Last Epoch. 3 patches in last week for me at work. We're winning. I don't know if that's a good thing to be winning. It means we needed them. Oh, come on. Woo! That was a very inopportune moment to get stunned. Does the Shadow Slip perk for Shift still work for you? I don't know. Is it supposed to give invulnerability on Shift, but apparently it doesn't do anything? If you think you found a bug, please head on over to the forums into our bug reports section. I don't know, like, I'm using it. So I hope it works. Hi Mike, Last Epoch and best RPG created to date. Thanks, but yeah. Keep it up. Your game combines simplicity and final complexity. I'll support you to the end. Thanks. I've been waiting for this for so long. Thank you, HG team, for your work and your determination. I take liberty of reposting you to Spike, our national Frenchman who loves your game and does great construction. Friendship with something? Sorry for my bad English. That's okay, bud. Your English is better than my French. Which, considering I've technically taken university courses in French, should be pretty good. But it's not. Blade answers specific question with dancing strikes. Would it be it would be a huge quality of life. Oh, this is a question. Quality of life to let chance to apply skill with the skill based on your attack speed. Right now, the attacks of it are speed capped, so chance to apply is horrible to scale with it. Full 20 skill points in dot application and the likes, and I will get the same amount of dots with dancing as I do with just right clicking the unskilled fury. That's sad. Thanks for the feedback. How to get the cute dragon you have. Go back in time and support us on Kickstarter. Oh, I thought I was outside that radius. I noticed some, but nothing on the power level of good for everyone uniques like Tabula Rasa from Tabula from PoE, or Furnace from the old days of D3. Any reason or plans to add something like that? I would argue so there are definitely uniques that are extremely useful in a fairly generic way. The poster child for that in Last Epoch is Bastion of Honor, which we're still trying to work out exactly how to make that. It just needs more competition right now is the big problem there, I think. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with the item itself. It just needs more competition. I would argue that, and this is going to sound really mean, I want to preface this by saying my favorite game, it's so hard to pick a favorite game of all time. Possibly one of my favorite games of all time is Diablo 2. So just before we get too far into this, I would argue that one of the worst items in Diablo 2 is Shaco, a Harlequin Crest. I think it is far too universally awesome that even if you find the absolute best like item for your build, like if it's not Shaco, like there's usually something else that's a little bit better. Even if you found like the absolute best one, it's usually just like a tiny bit better, and you're just like, everything gets compared to Shaco. It's too universally good. Especially as like an end game item. I think one of the nice things about Tabula is that regardless, there's always something better than it possible. Unless they've changed it recently. But it's so I like that style more. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a tough fight.
This is my punishment. This shall be yours as well.
We're gonna try and take this save, and chances are I'm gonna die at least once here, I think. Oh! It's not going well. Oh, I should not have shifted there. Wow. Oh, someone's trying to distract me. Thank you very much, but I'm not looking at it right now. Oh, come on, get the mana! Oh, yeah! Thank you. I appreciate you all. Jerks. Oh, come on! Come on! Okay, we got there. Only one death. That's fine. I expected more. That might actually be good. A little base to start crafting on. Alright, what happened here? Daedalus, thank you for the gift subs. It looks like a bunch there. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them? Thank you very much. Appreciate you. It looks like one of them went to our community manager, who re-gifted it out. Thank you very much, there, bud. Congrats to everyone who got one of those.
Would you come with me? It's a large request, but I need all the help I can get. But why?
But why?
Ha! Immortal Empire. Are you serious? I'll give you one better. After we're standing over Raye's corpse, we'll take that bag of bones together.
I love this guy.
Tell me
We
more
keep going,
of
though.
this Immortal Emperor on our journey.
Hope the team is taking some time when they can. Yes, Daedalus, we are. Very busy week for everyone, coming to the guy who got yesterday and today off work due to burnout from a series of condensed spirit deployment crystal cycles. That's sprint spirit. That sucks. Hope you're feeling better yourself. When making the game, was one person responsible for all the sound effects, or was it a group effort? There is there right now is one person who does all of our sound effects.
All that is left is to take the lance and bless it.
But it has not been them from the start, the whole way through. If that makes any sense. Can we do something weird here? Does this work? Yeah, it's the same thing, obviously. What do we do? This. Does this fix things? Nope, we're missing another one there. I don't know why I thought that would work. You know what? I'm gonna try and craft this helmet because I'm using Snowblind, which is kind of garbage, especially considering it's just basically cold resin armor. So we're going to try and craft this helmet I just got, which has T4 Vitality on it already, which is fantastic. Right. Let's start with a discovery. Dodge rating, we'll take it. Vitality. Let's just go armor. I think, yeah, armor up. Yeah, that's better. I know we lose the cold res and we're in a cold area, which is possibly a dumb idea. Do we have any slots for anything? No. I should get rid of this. I don't know why I have this on. Mike, find a better chest for yourself. Okay, good job, Mike. Hey, Aaron. Thanks for the welcome back. Do us a favor and reopen that Kickstarter page so we can pledge. There'll be more supporter packs that'll have cool pets on them. Questions for you guys are planning. I'm just gonna rephrase that. Are you guys planning on a future to put some sort of way to level up alter characters? In the future, will there be a way to level up alt characters faster? Yes, it'll be the same way that there is now. So you can use dungeons to skip sections of the campaign to jump ahead faster. You also can. I have my chat on. You also can. I usually play with it on, but I usually turn it off for stream. You can also just jump in a game with someone and they can just take you wherever. Game looks super awesome right now. Thank you. What will be one of the next big points for the team to tackle next? I mean, there's like cleaning up the early game campaign, finishing the rest of the campaign, adding in some like game mechanics like the item faction system, finishing up all of the all the classes that we have already. So like Rogue, you may notice, has far fewer skills and is missing a mastery. So things like that. Just improving everything all over the place, like more like gear sets and like updating visuals on items and minions and adding more enemies, and it's kind of it's just more and polish. I noticed a refreshing lack of minions in boss fights. Is this a general design goal that you have for boss fights? No, not specifically. Like there are certain boss fights that really specifically do have minions. And I think it just comes down to we try and make boss fights unique when we can. And one of the tools we had to make a boss fight unique is by giving it minions. So not every boss fight gets minions because there's others that need it. Will you rework set items to make them more interesting / unique in a way? We do want to make set items generally a little bit more appealing than they are now. It's pretty rare that you see a build use set items, and when you do, it's usually just as a quote-unquote bad unique. We've got a couple things we've talked about over the years because it's been an ongoing issue. Set items are another one of those things that's like there's a lot of nostalgia for set items and a lot of like, oh, set items were sweet. I really like set items, and looking back on games that have set items and were really prominent, I'm really I find it really difficult to pick out games that have good set items in them, like in RPGs. And like the usual thing that gets brought up is, oh, Diablo 2 had great set items. Diablo 2 had terrible set items. There was like there was one set that you could use in endgame, but it was terrible compared to what else was there. And there was another set you could use part of for farming, and that was good, but there's better options. And like DC doesn't have good sets. And I'm like, it sounds like I'm being really critical of Diablo 2. I love Diablo 2 completely. But there's a lot of, I think, mechanics that don't translate well to other games in the same genre.
Now it shall bear my final blessing.
And so I can see why some games like steer clear of them.
We have heroes. We must move your right. We'll travel west towards the sea.
Do not let it
is
bind
there,
you.
the god of sea and
Farewell.
Let's go. Are you trying out the D4 beta? I don't have time for it. Not yet. When things calm down a bit, I'll give it a shot for sure. Where am I going? Yeah, like I will definitely try it for sure. But a little busy right now. I barely have time to do this. But so happy I am. What's the coolest thing you've implemented that was suggested by the community? Oh, this is the problem, is that I know there's things that have been suggested by the community. There's a few categories here. There's things that have been suggested by the community that we didn't realize were suggested by the community, and we just happened to implement at the same time. There are things that have been suggested by the community that were super cool, and we just like didn't ever hear about them. I'm sure this has happened. We just like missed it somehow. And I'm sure there are things that I didn't realize were suggested by the community in the first place. So there's like we had a ton of suggestions. So I don't have a good answer for this really. There's a pretty sweet unique item that we did specifically as a community suggestion. Like we did like each week there's a poll, and at the end of it we'll make an item based on what the community suggested. That was pretty sweet. There's been so many things. I'm sorry, I don't really have a great answer for this one. If it's so hard to make set items feel good, why do you decide to have them all? Because I think there's a really good, yeah, that's a great question. I'm happy to talk about that. There's this really interesting thing with set mechanics in gear. It creates inter-gear dependencies that I think are awesome and makes for an interesting puzzle to solve, which is very cool. And we actually tried to, we in the past, we've tried putting set affixes that you can actually craft onto gear that you can make your own set items, okay? Which sounds great. And we had those for about 2 years. And we just could never get them to feel good. Like, we constantly got feedback on how terrible they were. Like every day. And this was before we had a huge number of people playing the game, so it was basically everyone was telling us they were terrible. So we ripped them out. And what they were was they were specific set. They were like it was an affix that says like plus 10 health for every set health affix you have. So if you have 4 set health affixes and they're all plus 10 health per set affix, they're each giving 40 health. So the 4 of them together is giving you 160 health. It's just an example. Terrible math. Terrible numbers, I know. And so I'd still love to try and explore that one a little bit if possible, but I don't know how it would be doable really. And so the cool thing that set items in general, and also that system was trying to do and bring to the table, is those interdependencies. So, and this kind of happens anyways with certain defensive layers needing to hit certain thresholds. Specifically things like crit avoidance. So it's like, okay, so I've got 77% crit avoidance on this ring, and say I've got 100% crit avoidance hypothetically, which I don't, and I find a new ring that has like amazing stats on it, and I just gotta get those stats I gotta get that ring on my gear, like no matter what, I have to have that ring. So I switch out this ring, but the new ring doesn't have any crit avoidance on it. So suddenly I'm then looking around at elsewhere in my gear. What can I change? Can I switch out my boots for boots that have crit avoidance? That sort of thing is what I'm suddenly doing, looking for other ways to adjust my gear. And having that inter-gear dependency through set items is a really clear and obvious way to do that, where you're like, okay, well, I usually put health on my belt slot, but I've got this set belt that I have to use, so I have to find somewhere else to put that health. And I think it really contributes nicely to that gearing puzzle. The problem being when you get, like, you run into problems with set affixes when they are dictating too much of your build and are so clearly the best thing to put on. And I think that's worse than set items feeling lackluster. Which is kind of why we've probably erred on the side of caution when it comes to set power. What I'd really like to see set items being able to do as well, there's a lot of like storytelling and thematics you can pull out of a set item, where you've got like this character, say, and this is an element of the set items in Diablo 2 that I really like. Is you get these characters, because all the set items are based around this person. That, like, I think Trangules is a really good example of this, even though it's terrible because when you transform, your stats go ballistic. But the feeling of there's this really unique thing you can do that's based around this character, and you get this storytelling of like, oh, this was so and so's sword, or this was so and so's boots, and if it's a well-known enough character in the game, you can actually have some really cool stuff where you are gaining some new ability that character had, and you get cool world-building opportunities with things like that I really, really like. I think those are some strengths that set items have, and some pitfalls that you can find yourself in. Am I calling zone lethal mirage? That's what the problem is. Ah, get back here. Cold res. Cold res. Yeah. Cold res. Let's go. Eight-hand rogue when? When it's ready. No. Gonna be at PAX East this year? No, we won't. I don't think we've ever done PAX East. We've done West and Central, because there's a lot of us in West and Central PAX location areas and nearby areas. PAX West is really easy for me to get to. Which I think was PAX Prime for a while. Possibly is still PAX Prime. I don't know, I haven't been paying attention to them for the last couple years. Something happened in the world, I don't know what it was. I was just in my basement office. Everyone was telling me stuff was happening. I believe them, I guess. I do, I'm just kidding, for the record. Ah, come on, die. I told you to. What do you maybe releasing a limited time pet pack with pets currently in the game? Oh, like a revamp of pets that we've already said would be one time only. Very unlikely. Just popping in to say thanks for the great game. That's all. Back to work. Okay, bye. Thanks. See ya. LP set items win. So yeah, this is a question we get a lot about adding LP to set items as a possibility. Like, oh, just put LP on set items. Problem solved. Well, yes, but actually no. I don't have any set items to show this with, but set item tooltips are colossal. There's already too much on them. There is not room for LP and exalted affixes to go on them really, as far as just space on the tooltip. So really unlikely that'll happen. I don't know if this has been asked. Probably, but that's okay. I'm happy to answer it again. Endgame maps feel like way too big in size. Personally, are you guys happy with the size? Have you discussed that? I think so. Like I disagree on them being too big in size. I would argue that there probably needs more stuff to do in them, and specifically more dynamic stuff to do in them. So things where you don't know exactly what you're getting into when it starts is the type of stuff that I think is really necessary and worthwhile. And like that can be something as simple as like a treasure goblin showing up. I think it's a really interesting mechanic that's gotten adopted by a lot of games, like outside of the classic ARPG genre, that I really like. But yeah, I'm not saying specifically do that, but just that style of, like, hey, here's a organic quest that just showed up randomly out of nowhere. That organic quest being kill this thing before it gets away. Like, and that's the implied quest pop-up that happens as soon as a treasure goblin shows up, right? And I think it really helps with the, like, areas you maybe played a million times feeling stale, or not feeling stale. Okay. So, about those fire enemies, eh? Protect me, Ballista. The Viking Beard, from the Viking Beard. When I joined a friend's game, if this is a bug report, please don't. I've joined a friend's game who's more advanced than me in the storyline. Gave me credit for the Oracle quest in the Risen Lake. I cannot do the quest, but it's stuck on screen. Will it eventually come off by finishing the stories? It's stuck for now. There should be a point. You should be able to go back like slightly before it, or go back. Like there should be a point where you can go that will cause the quest to resolve. It's a little tricky knowing where to go because you don't have the right quest marker. But going back and following the main quest from earlier should be able to get it off your screen. It may also just be a bug. Handled. Can you describe some ideas for Rune Master or Warlock? Not really.
Easy. Too easy.
I think that we haven't released a lot of info about it yet, and so there's not a lot I can talk about when it comes to these master classes yet. We do have their skills designed, and some prototypes are being worked on right now actually for them. So there's work's being done on them again, which is good news for everyone waiting for those. They will be in at 1.0. I'll tell you that much. Frenzies when allies die. Let's kill your allies. I need a new chess piece because this one is garbage. Let's go into our filter and try and highlight a new chess piece. Let's make it this cool blue. It's gonna be an item type, armor, body armor, confirm, subtypes, something, rogue specific. Maybe not these crappy. This damage is nice though. I don't really care that much about mana regen, but I wouldn't say no to it. I'd rather not have that. I'll leave it on now just because it's bad. I mean, let's just see them all. let's just see all of our chess pieces that we can use that are the right base type. Let's get something because what we got now is not working for us. I would probably put some more specific stuff in there normally, but I want to keep things moving. Oh, I also have like spoilers that I brought, little teasers. Oh, I'll share it when I'm finished. When I get to the next reasonable break point, I got something for you guys. Ooh, ding ding. What's up here? That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Right. Forgot that's what that was. Hello, Mike. Welcome back to Twitch. Thank you very much. It's only gone 2 weeks. I'd like to know how much of the bugs we are seeing in game are related to the game now running on a server. Vast majority. And do you think a huge amount of new people playing the game, especially in the weekend the patch launched, corroborated with the amount of bugs appearing? Yes. Are you guys happy with the item distribution in terms of drops from kills and the Echo reward chest? Yes. So the reason why. Ooh. Oh, Lang! I thought there was more A's there. Extended that way too much. Sorry. Welcome. Thanks to the raiding party. With regards to item drops from killing things compared to what you see at the end, so we originally had originally we had all the rewards for doing an echo coming from the enemies you kill in the echo. And before, we never even released a version like that. We very quickly got feedback that wasn't awesome, because as you're going, you're stopping to pick things up all the time, and it was just like breaking up the gameplay too much. So basically what we did is we took the vast majority of the drops you see as you're playing, and we shoved them in the chest at the end. So that chest that's in that ending zone, the amount of drops that come from that scales directly with the, oh my goodness, scales directly with the number of enemies you kill in that echo. So the chest at the end is from kills. If that makes any sense. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm tempted to just, like, take this and craft it. That is a bad item. This is where we're at, though. I mean, that could have gone worse. Alright, we got T5 fire affix, let's go! Where am I going? Our fire res is capped now. And now I'm gonna get cocky, because I'm like, oh, I'm so strong because I'm dealing with fire enemies, and something's gonna kill me anyways. Yes, stun. Stay stunned. My dazzling display of awesome stuns you. I know it does. Alright, next question. I got a question. What would you say to Sentinel players who can't sustain high mana cost skills for certain builds due to the recent volatile reversal cooldown nerf? Send us your feedback. Sprinkle in, if you want advice, sprinkle in a low cost skill to gain mana back as you're going. Does the upcoming netcode transferable skill update fix the thing like buffs falling off that shouldn't fall off? Why is this turning back on? Does the upcoming netcode transferable skill update fix the things like buffs falling off that shouldn't fall off? 1 second duration buff skill cooldown 0.7 seconds. Looking forward to that netcode transferable fix though. Maybe? I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. Everything's going for me today? Good. Oh. And more stuff. No fire is garbage. Just kidding. Ooh. Is that? Yeah. That might be good. See, we switch to a giant spear from a sword. Can you tell us where you are in development process for the next dungeon? Have you found a nice idea mechanic yet? No, the next dungeon is not in development yet. I mean, the movement skills, English not my primary language. That's okay. I really want to like dancing strikes, but it's hard. Yeah. It's got dancing strikes. I've always felt has a very Riven feel to it. You ever played? Did I just lock myself in place? Yeah, we're not doing that. That's funny. Yes. Classic ARPG player. Just don't read anything. Just click go. Click faster. I know I'm terrible. Any bug fix patch dropping today? I don't know. I hope so. There's one in the pipe. I got to the end and I likely missed a bunch of questions. If you have any questions, please put at Last Epoch Game in the questions so I can see it pop out at me a little bit easier. In the meantime, I got something cool to share. Here is the concept art for a new upcoming enemy. Haha! Look at that guy. Look at that tongue. How can you join the factions? Join a faction, or is this feature not in the game yet? The item faction system is not in the game yet. There's a big write-up on our forums. All the information's there. It says in that document that it's not coming in 0.9. We'll be adding it as soon as we can. We know it's something that a lot of people want. We know it's a really popular thing that people are looking forward to. So we're gonna get on it quickly. Should have revealed this on Wednesday, my dude. Yeah, but I don't stream on Wednesday. But yeah, good point. Oh, water went down the wrong pipe. Oh, we're okay. We're gonna make it. I'm okay. I swear. Why Wednesday llama? No, you're mean, bro.
Can I help you?
Oh, are there any plans to have timeline stability shared between characters? There are no plans at the moment. If you'd like it, please leave your feedback on our forums. We have the void version of this already. That thing, the small fat thing that lashes out with a tongue. It's similar, but it's definitely different. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at this weapon. It has potential. It has a lot of potential. But not a lot of forging potential, you know? The actual stat. Yeah, I'll give it a shot later. Oh, is it terrible lethal mirage? Ice beetle! I love the ice beetle shrine. It's such a good time. We looked at the same. Yeah, ice beetle wins. Ooh, that's a bunch of skills getting level ups right there is what that is. Right there, that is. Yep. Well, this is the problem. It's been a little bit. I can't remember exactly what I was putting points in and towards. It may have just been Leech. May have just been playing Leech. I think we're going this way. Just want to be able to cleanse with lunge, because I love that. And this needs to get scrapped anyways, but we'll put something in there. Hey, Shrine, let's go! I have a job now. I'm too busy to know me what it means, bro. Sorry, bud. Sorry you have a job. Also, congrats on the job. Oh, there's another chest potentially. Yeah, we'll be crafting on that for sure. For sure. Didn't watch Workaholics. When will the new supporter packs be available to buy? I don't know. I thought they were going to be available right on day one, and I'm not sure where they are. I think there was a technical problem with them. Hopefully it's getting worked out. Honestly, we probably looked at it and was like, well, there's this technical problem about getting the supporter packs and the shops working and stuff like that. And there's other technical problems that are causing the game to not work for a bunch of people. We'll fix the game for a lot of people first. Will supporter packs be available to... Oh, and will we be able to purchase them through the website or Steam only from now on? Ooh, good question. I don't know. I'm sorry. Is there a plan to reduce or hide the effects of other team members' skills? We don't have anything in the pipe right now. Llama, doing it through Steam is way easier for us, actually. Hi, me here asking questions. Me do asking questions. Alright, awesome. 1 is Spark Nova. Skill to be procced by Lightning Blast affected by the nodes in the Lightning Blast tree. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't see why it wouldn't be. 2 hits in 0.02 second window to 1 damage number. Mechanic only work on visuals, or it'll also convert multiple hits into 1. It does not actually ever convert multiple hits into 1. Nothing does. Why do I think you've not been active on the forum Discord? I thought you were just upset over that thing I said last time I saw you. You know, I just thought you just couldn't forgive me. No, I have no idea. I'm sorry. I've seen you on there too a little bit. It's also been so hard to keep up with everything. I've been trying so hard to, and it's just like, it's very overwhelming sometimes. In a good way. Can I take this? Yeah, no problem. Look at that fire res doing work. Fire damage. Pff, who said that was overtuned? Just get fire res. Easy. Problem solved. Oh, I'm sorry. Just kidding. Shaman 2.0 when? There's a bunch of Shaman reworks in the pipe. Contrary to popular belief, due to a certain video being circulated, we are not removing Tempest Strike. Never said we were. We are moving Tempest Strike from its current role to a new role, and are changing the way it works very significantly. But the ability Tempest Strike and the core idea and fantasy of it will still remain. Do you think there will be skills that characters can swap between? Do you think that there will be skills that characters can swap between? Or will classes always have locked-in skills? Like, sorry, do you mean sorry, I assume you don't mean like being able to switch the skills in your bar. And you mean like, will there be a skill that is specializable in multiple classes? So like a non-class specific skill. We've talked about that, and it's possible. It would probably be granted by a weapon, or not necessarily a weapon, an item. It would probably be granted by an item. That's probably how we distribute something like that. But the like the way that like skills like we're probably, we have no plans to take skills like Acid Blast and be like, all right, anyone can use Acid Blast, just go. That's extremely unlikely to happen. Alright, next question. Where are we at? Are there any dynamic boss damage reduction mechanics in the game? Yes. And if so, are you able to elaborate on how they work? Honestly, I don't know the formula off the top of my head. Basically, so here's the important thing to know. There's one really important thing, because every time someone learns about this mechanic, the first thing they try and do, if they're really trying to min-max things, is they try and figure out a way to stop DPS in order to kill the boss faster, to like alleviate the effects of the dynamic DR on the boss. So this like they'll do some sort of like stack up a bunch of buffs, spike the damage, and then like stop DPS hard to have the DR fall off, to stack up a bunch of buffs, and something like that. So try and do something like that. Okay, I'm 100% confident that will not work. No matter what you do, the fastest way to kill a boss is to do as much damage as you can to it as fast as possible. Period. With that out of the way, generally how the dynamic DR works is the more damage you do to it, the tougher that boss gets and the less damage you do to it. And I know that from what I just said, it's very counterintuitive, but trust me on this one. The system's been in the game for a while, and a lot of people have tried to find ways to game it through that. And the early versions of it were possible to do things like that. But since then, we fixed it. And the fastest way to kill a boss is to do more damage to it faster. So, do more damage to it, you know? Is it intended that while during the cast animation of Eterra's Blessing, it removes all existing buffs from previous casts of the skill? It actually happens. It doesn't. So if there is something happening in the casting animation of it, it's the timings of that casting animation are a little bit behind from when the skill is actually happening, and the UI for the thing you're targeting is actually just updating first. Like, yeah, all of the things for the skill happen when it actually casts, not when you start to cast it. RE Steam being easier, does that include taking the current pack values as partial payment for the desired pack? So you have a $100 pack and wanted to buy the $200 pack and it only costs $100. I don't know. I got this question, will you try D4 beta this weekend? Probably not this weekend, but yes, I will try it. I'm very busy with something. I don't know what. But I am very excited to try it. I'm also more interested in trying it once any difficulties have been ironed out or early flood problems are no longer existing. While I am very excited to try it, I can wait the extra week for things to calm down a little bit. Hey Mike, just wanted to say multiple launch has been awesome. I quite like the Orbis type fights. I'd also like more mini boss fights like that, like this throughout the web. Yeah, the shade of Orbis, not to be confused with Orbis themselves, is it's one of my favorite fights because it's so dynamic in what abilities can show up. So if anyone doesn't know, that fight has like if you really want to get down to it and like say like, well, every combination's different, it has hundreds of thousands of different combinations that can happen. And you like some of them are close enough that I wouldn't really call them different fights, but there's a good dozen like really different versions of that fight that are like super distinct that happen. I really like that. Yeah, but I only get 60 minutes a day to browse the forums, and you've never invited me over. I'm sorry. There's only room in my cave for one. Volcanic / frost or buff when? I don't know. When it's appropriate. Okay, that's a good answer. Nailed it. Does Last Epoch have controller support on PC? It is partial, is what we call it. We're still working on making it better. You can basically play with controller, and for the most part, it's quite good. There are still some things missing with it, and improvements we need to make, and features we need to add, and all that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't call it full controller support. It is still a feature in development, but if that's the only way you can play, it's definitely functional. Let me in! Dunk, dunk, dunk. Can we get more active sources for bee generation? We have to be patient on that one. Why did you decide to go with the current view of ailments greater than 100% equals multiple stacks compared to, say, how PoE does it? We figured it was... so if there is, like, just, like, let's assume that, like, the very basic version of this is 100% or more just means one ailment gets applied.
Too easy.
We figured the most intuitive way to have having stats that end up being completely wasted because you have too much of it doesn't feel good. So if you're stacking, like, oh, I want to stack ignite chance, or, like, I want to stack an ignite build, and maybe there's some item that gives like 100% ignite chance, but then there's this like two uniques. So there's these two uniques that are really good for ignites, and they both have like big boosts to ignite damage and effects that work off of ignite, but they both give 100% ignite chance. Because they're so ignite focused, you have to have full ignite chance on both of them. Well, suddenly those items, while very synergistic and great to have, you're not using the full potential of either of those items. And we figured the most intuitive way and simplest way to set up being over 100% on an ailment chance was to just say, like, well, if you have 100% chance to apply ignite and you have 100% chance to apply ignite, you get 2 ignites. We figured that was just the easiest and most straightforward way. Any plans to UI scaling as an option? Not specifically. I've seen the request a few times. Usually it comes from people playing on like a TV or a really big monitor, or really small monitors too. I've seen some of those. We don't have plans to support 4x3, I'll say that. It might happen someday. Whenever I say, like, we don't have plans for it, I'd like to clarify that I mean, we don't have plans for it, and we don't have plans not for it either. It's just not something we've, yeah. So as far as plans for UI scaling, we don't have any plans for UI scaling, but we don't specifically have something in a design document somewhere that says never do UI scaling or anything like that. It's just not something we're planning to do right now. But if you want it, go to the forums and leave a feedback, a suggestion, whatever it's called. Suggestions are things people do, right? Have you fixed the remaining health bars after you kill an enemy? I mean, most of the time that should be gone. I don't want to say it's 100% gone forever, but, like, I haven't seen it in a while. You're not sorry, you're never sorry. I know, right? Just the worst. I asked the question about Eterra's Blessing earlier. The example for me is if I hold down the cast on myself, the percent increase elemental res seems to not be counted towards my character res in the character menu briefly. Are you thinking this is just a UI timing issue, and in reality the res is shown in the character menu is wrong? There's probably a brief moment where the UI hasn't caught up with the fact that it's been back on. If the buffs, if the trigger for it, I don't know what the wording is. But if the buff says something like, whenever you cast Eterra's Blessing, you get this buff, no, it should still work. There shouldn't be any time between those two. The UI is probably just lagging behind a little bit. I don't know though. If PSA, if anyone ever thinks they might have found a bug, not like even if you're like, is this, I don't know if this is intended or not. That's what I mean by you think you might have found a bug. Just go to the forums and leave a bug report. Like, I don't, even if it's not a bug report is so helpful. Because even if it's not a bug, and we look at that and go, hey, that's not a bug. They thought it was a bug, or they thought it might have been a bug. We need to communicate to the players better why that's not a bug, so that they don't get confused by this. So, in a way, it is a bug because the bug is how we're communicating it. Yeah, look at that fire res and health regen. Let's go. We don't want that anymore. We don't want that. Does overcapped crit chance interact at all with the enemy's crit strike avoidance? I hate these questions. Just because I don't know them well enough. The overcapped crit with crit avoidance. I don't think so. I don't think so because I think what happens is, like the ability is like this is a crit, and then the person's like, no, I've avoided the crit. And so it's not like it's adding it up together to see if it's going to be a crit. I think. I'm not confident on that. There's someone in the community knows that and answers that better than I do. I'm sorry. Okay, no, it does not. Cool. Yes. I was right. Nailed it. Thanks, Kane. Orbis fight in chapter 10 or 12. Also, what about 1.5 hand rogue? I mean, I think that like a bow and quiver is kind of like 1.5 hand rogue, right? Right? Can you tell me about Warlock? I would like to know how it will be different from Lich. I can't really give you too much on Warlock. The sort of like thematic touchstone that we've been working from for Warlock was Jafar from Aladdin. Not to be referencing specific abilities or things that Jafar can do, but a thematic feeling. Sort of like a dark sorcerer type vibe. And so like I think Lich deals a lot more in hurting yourself, controlling like controlling life and draining life, and like it has transform abilities and things like that. I think you're looking a lot more in the like dots and poison type of damage that's coming from Lich more so. I think those are the things that really stand Lich out from other Acolyte classes. I know I kind of answered that without answering it, and I'm sorry, but that's about the best I can do. Without just spoiling stuff that I'm not supposed to spoil. You know what? Distraction! Look at this instead! Nope, wrong one. Crap. Oh no, what have I done? Yeah, quick distraction, look at this instead! Haha! Nothing to see here. I believe this is a new mage armor set. Coming up. Hey mate, will we ever not have to transfer shards in from our inventory, and will they ever be auto pickup? Ever's a long time. I don't know. We have no immediate plans to do this. But yeah, ever's a long time, so maybe it's possible. If you have suggestions, please head on over to our forums or suggestions section and leave one there. Why can't the weapon master of the game, Sentinel, dual wield more varieties of weapons? He has fewer options than even the primitive cave monkey primalist. We really tried to all the dual wielding options. We tried to draw from what type of there's lots of things we tried to draw from, but like which weapon types are really thematically appropriate for this class, and also which weapons are logically appropriate for dual wielding with like a hint of historical context coming to that. So one example we frequently get is like maces. Like why can't I dual wield maces? And it's really, really rare that maces were dual wielded. It was almost always like having one mace and another weapon like a sword or something like that was definitely done. But it was, and I'm sure there are examples of dual wielding maces. Like I don't want to say that was never a thing. But that's like there's influences like that come into it when we're deciding which things we're going to make dual wielding and which ones we're not. Hope that makes sense. Give me that crit vulnerability. Additionally, does shield, which is not a weapon, in the offhand count as unarmed for the purposes of Hand of Judgment? It does. You are considered armed if you are wielding a weapon. Any hints for the 5th Paladin skill? Will it show mercy to our allies? Is it not in? It's not in yet. Right. You guys don't know what the 5th skill is, do you? No. Well, I think you're asking, the answer is no, I think. I forgot Paladin was still missing a skill. And Healing Hands. It's kind of missing too. Plans to dual wield melee weapon plus wand, please. Can't you do that technically? Can't you put the wand in your main hand and the sword in your offhand as a spellblade? So, someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one, please. But I'm pretty sure you can do that. So I'm second guessing myself on this one. Let's go look at the Spellblade, because Shatter Strike has an ability for that scales based on the number of swords you're wielding, I think. Doesn't it? Sorry, quick interlude while I... Is there none here? Can equip swords and offhand. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Gemini, just above the lock line on Spellblade, right in the center. Should let you put a wand in your main hand and a sword in your offhand. And really, you can do that on any class. So I could do that on you could do a wand and a dagger on a rogue if you wanted. When it says like dual wield this specific weapon, it just means like that's the only thing that can go in your offhand slot. But any one-handed weapon can still go in your main hand slot while you're dual wielding something else in your offhand. It doesn't. The dual wielding things don't mean like you can only put these two things in each like. If it's like you can dual wield swords, it doesn't mean like it has to be two swords. It means anything in your main and a sword in your off. That may also apply to the previous question about dual wielding a little while back. I heard 1.0 might come at the end of the year. Is that the rumor BS or is it dev speech? So this rumor got started. I know exactly where this rumor got started. A certain person was in chat one day, in-game chat one day, recently, a couple days ago, I think, and may have mentioned that their desire was that 1.0 would be released before the end of the year. That person who relayed their desire for when 1.0 would be released may have happened to be the game director. So that carries a little more weight than just a random person saying it, usually. We have no set date for 1.0 yet. And I chose my words very carefully there.
Easy. Too easy.
And I hope that's okay. Puncture? Shadows? We don't do those things. Oh, there's a big mouthful. Get back here. I said get back here.
Easy. Too easy.
I mean, it's not that easy. Quit, you know, just do your job. You know what you're supposed to do here. Kicking butt. Let's keep doing that, but let's not get cocky, kid. Huh?
Easy. Too easy.
We need a few more lines in those categories, I think. Well, that's pretty nice too, actually. I do love having the less bonus damage taken from crits on a weapon. You get that up to 100%, and you're just laughing. Will there be an option for autocast? Ever's a long time. We have no plans to add it for 1.0. Technically, there already is. Technically, it's already in the game. If you want to get real specific with it, technically it already exists. Bottom right of, and it's terrible. Don't take the node, unless you want to. Bottom right corner of enchant weapon, elemental weapon, the spellblade skill, enchant weapons, right? He's real frenzied. I just killed all his buddies. Oh, that's pretty good. Please, if you have a question, please put @Last Epoch Game in front of the question so I see it pop out a little bit easier. I do have one more spoiler for you guys, too, that I will show right near the end of the stream because I'm a terrible person. Any chance we might see some kinds of gun/rifle spec mastery down the line? I think steam-powered engineer or something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's not something that we have specifically planned out right now to do. It's not impossible. It's a request we get every once in a while. We do have, like, we've got a ton of design documents that are like, this could be a class we added in the future, and like, here's some example skills, and you know, like themings, and some touchstone artwork that you find, and things like that. Like, there's lots of ideas like that floating around. I'd be lying if we don't get this request a fair bit, and you know, like we have a version of that that's sort of like in the what if category, maybe. We also have a list of, hey, this will probably be the next mastery for this class, and hey, this will probably be the next class we release, and you know, it's not in those lists. So eventually it's a long time, you know.
be wise to leave.
Those pesky COs. Leaking their hopes and dreams and creating rumors. Yep.
Yes.
This quest was so buggy. Trying to get it to work in multiplayer. My goodness. Oh my god, this quest is so buggy for so long. It's so frustrating. Are the missing classes being added in 1.0? The missing mastery classes, Warlock, Rune Master, and Falconer, will be added at 1.0's release date, not before, not after. I think Lagon needs some new lines too. He talks too much, he doesn't have much to talk about. That's the missing line there. I don't know if that was intentionally ironic or not, but that was good. Why Osprix are all evil? That's racist, sir. I mean, all the ones you've met so far, I think assuming that they're all racist, all evil is the racist thing. Really. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we're evil from their point of view, you know? Oh yeah, of course you get back up. When making legendaries, does it always take the exalted mod? Random. Always random. There's no waiting, there's no way to influence it, it's always random. Do different minions have different scaling on flat added minion damage? No, that's not how it works. The abilities themselves, well, yes, but actually no. The minions themselves don't have different scaling. The abilities they have different scaling, but it's added damage scaling, and it's very rare to get added minion damage. It's possible, but the abilities that they use are what dictates the added damage scaling rates, not the minions themselves. So you get, like, if two minions use Fireball, they'll have the same added damage scaling. But one minion, sometimes what we'll do is it might look like, okay, well, they're both using Fireball, but in reality, one of them's using Fireball A, one of them's using Fireball B, and Fireball A might have different scaling than Fireball B. So it's always locked to the skills. Usually, minions have very high minion abilities have very high base damage with just default added damage scaling, and because it's almost impossible to get added damage on stuff anyways. I say almost because it's not impossible. And I'm sure while I was saying that, someone was like, it's on this, and I'm like, okay, cool. Sorry. I'm not aware with that. Ooh, nice little boat there. Nice little boat. Do the trick. Not too shabby. We're getting close to the end here. I should probably pop this up before we get too far. Oh, look at that timing. Did I complain about how buggy this quest was in development, and I've bugged it? Is that something that I've just done? Isn't this it? Okay, there. Can I just warp back? This is that thing where I'm like, is this buggy where I shouldn't just go? I'm gun shy about this quest. Okay, come on. Just give me some breathing room here, please. And here's a new model for Bone Wall, I believe. How has team morale been since the 9th? I know the internet can be a tough place. Can be a bit tough sometimes, sorry. But I hope you guys have been feeling good about everything. Yeah, I mean, it is. I'd be lying if I didn't say that it was difficult to hear some of the less positive things that come out around these things. But overall, people have been really supportive and really positive, and it's been really great. And you know, it's like there's a lot of people that are really passionate about games like this, and are passionate about our game, and having things not work for them. It's tricky sometimes. It's tricky to have this thing you've been waiting for come out and have it not work for you, especially if you've planned time around it. Like, I know everyone's busy. It's difficult. So you know, I don't take it personally, and I know if someone's that passionate about it that they're angry, it means they're probably excited about the game, and hopefully we can win them back by making it better. Just making the game better, fixing the problems. But yeah, overall, it's been really great. This quest confused the heck out of me my first playthrough. I love the Architect Leah 3D model. Yeah, it's good. I might just chill here and hammer out a bunch of these questions here. How large is Summon Spriggan passive heal aura? It's really big, and there's actually a graphic ring for it. So you should be able to see it, but it's like it's really big. Like, yeah. Yeah, it was like he says the same things a lot. Some variety would make it better. Oh, I don't remember what the question was. Sorry. Are you telling me that Raya isn't the good guy? I mean, if you've drank the Kool-Aid, I guess he could be the good guy. I hear the voice acting can be very expensive, even for big dev teams. How likely is it for Ellie to get full voice acting by 1.0? I mean, we're constantly adding more voice acting. There's way more than there used to be, and we're just still adding more. Every single little line of the entire game, it'll be a little while before I think all of that's done. But I think we'll be getting pretty close to full voice acting by 1.0. Localized voice acting, when we do localization, oh, sorry, it's a lot. even just like we've been working on localization in general. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. What is Last Epoch's ultimate goal in the RPG space? Are there any core philosophies that separate it or make it unique from other RPGs? That's a big question for 1 minute left in the stream. I'm sorry I didn't get to it earlier. I would say ultimate goal in the RPG space is to, when someone Googles best ARPGs in the world, one of the things, like you're probably never going to see like a definitive this one's the best one for a category like that. It's always so hard to do it with any game, category, but I want Last Epoch to be one of the top ones in those lists and be debated upon as one of the contenders for the top spot. So that's a good way to put the goal. I don't think there's any. I think sometimes this question comes up, and it's the whole like, I know it's not the same genre, but it's the whole like WoW killer mentality of like, oh, is this game gonna kill this other game? It does. I don't think it needs to. I don't think I think there's plenty of room for people to play different games or to play multiple games and all that sort of stuff. So I think having us be a fantastic ARPG. I think that's the best way to put it. Just a really great ARPG, and people who play ARPGs enjoying our game, and you know, that's what we're looking for.
Too easy.
I do see ourselves show up in like Path of Exile content creator videos and Last Epoch and Diablo 4 content creator videos and things like that. And getting referenced in those. Oh, it's so great. Oh, it's so great seeing that. Lovely. Love it. Fantastic. Makes me feel great. Talking about melee damage on strikes. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what that was referencing. I gotta wrap this up. Are the devs benefiting from more recent AI advancements to make development faster? We don't utilize much in the way of AI for development right now. We've joked around with it a few times sometimes. The new AI voice generators are pretty stunning. Yeah, there's some pretty amazing stuff there. Image AI gens can be cool. There's a lot of subtleties in theming that can be generated by a real artist that I don't think AI art can quite hit on the right notes yet. So we're real happy with our real live artists right now. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I think we've like tried it for like concept art for some things to see what it spits out, but I don't think we've ever used anything like that. It's sort of just an experiment. Last couple questions here. When can we expect French translation of the game? We are working on it. I have no ETA, I'm sorry, but it is actively being done. Will you introduce some sort of branching campaign choices, like allying with Raya? Branching campaign choices in an online multiplayer game gets real messy real fast. While not impossible, I don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon. Definitely not before 1.0. One of the ARPGs of all time, exactly. I hope I didn't say that. Why are there so few mobs on locations in Monolith and LE? Part of that is very intentional. We do want there to be fewer mobs than you see in a lot of other games. Having combat be a little bit more intentional and hopefully a little bit more tactical. There might not be enough in a lot of situations still, so we are still getting feedback on that and adjusting and tweaking it. And because we know some people really like having those huge hordes to deal with, so yeah, that's why. Check out the Seer video on Last Epoch if you haven't already on YouTube. I will. I don't know if I've seen that one or not. I watch a lot of them. Has anyone else reported an issue? Probably. Projectiles being lost? Yes. What's happening there is there's an object in the world that's improperly tagged with collision. So, make a bug report. Epoch's call system when we did scrap that a long time ago. There's things that are similar that we'll be working back in still. Is there a difference between melee crit multiplier and crit multiplier? Melee crit multiplier only applies to melee skills. Crit multiplier applies to throwing, bow, spell, and melee skills. And on that note, it's time to end. Thank you all for coming out. You've been a wonderful, wonderful group of people to spend the last 2 hours with. I appreciate you all. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I'll be here same time, same place next week, doing some more Epoch, taking some more questions, If I didn't answer your question and you would like it answered, please head on over to our Discord. There's an Ask the Devs channel, which I'll be opening back up again any minute now, that hang out in, answer questions. There's also Ask the Community. Tons of very experienced people in the community. If you're wondering, does this work with that? I would bet that someone in there knows better than I do. So don't forget to ask them too. If you have any bugs that you found, please just go to the bug reports on the forums. I spend way too much of my day telling people to go there. If you have feedback, there's feedback places, lots of them all over the place. We love it. We read it. We take it. We need it. Give us your feedback. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. We'll be back. We're still here. We're hanging out. We're having a great time. Let's go say hi to someone. Who should we go say hi to? I don't think we've gone to this in quite a while. Yeah, that's it. Stream's over. Hope you guys had fun. I know I did. I think I already said that, didn't I? It's okay. See you later.